This is the Election Bureau. Hello and welcome to the Citi Newsroom. My name is Minna, Dablu.
And I am Bobbie, Osei. Coming up.
President Akufo-Addo makes case for a second term in his Volta region campaign tour. He says he has set Ghana on a path of growth and development.
What is the progress that the Volta region has seen under the umbrella? Zero, 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 absolutely zero. New Patriotic Party has a blueprint for the development of Ghana. I am determined to marry the Volta region.
Also, NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama accuses President Akufo-Addo of what he calls protecting corrupt NPP appointees.
That's a proclivity where corruption has occurred and it has to do with one of his appointees or things, to try and, clear them and shield them. He's done that in almost every scandal that has hit. The frustrated investigations, the Galamsey investigation. Have you heard about it again?
And our radar is on the Wild West constituency, where former executive secretary to the IGP and NDC candidate Peter Tobu vows to keep the Wild West constituency on as an NDC stronghold after defeating stalwart Joseph Yeletre at the primaries. But former DCE and NPP's Daniel Dari hopes to be third time lucky.
We are talking about jobs. We want to create jobs for the youth. We are talking about justice. I want to ensure, with my background, the criminal justice system must work well in my constituency.
Nobody knows him until he came and contested for the primaries and won. For somebody to say that he doesn't have a footprint.
And later on, Peace Council and UNDP step up campaign against gun-related violence.
People are just roaming around with weapons, with small arms, which is very dangerous. Those are not the things we should be carrying around. What we should be carrying around is the idea that we want to use to develop our country.
Let's settle for the details. About 4 NDC supporters in the Ellembelle district in the western region on a campaign walk are feared dead after a commercial vehicle ran over them Sunday evening at the Azulenino, a community located between Anyanase and Isiama.
Now, confirming the accident to Citi News, the Member of Parliament and NDC candidate for Ellembelle, Emmanuel Ama-Kofi-Boa, said the incident happened a little before 7 p.m. on Sunday when hundreds of supporters embarked on the campaign walk but were run over by a passing vehicle.
The MP, who expressed regret for the loss of lives, said several of the injured have been taken to a Catholic hospital, with about 4 feared dead. Now, moving on, President Akufo-Addo is asking Ghanaians to trust him and the NPP to lead Ghana into progress and prosperity.
Now, Nana Akufo-Addo says the many achievements of his government in the last 4 years are clear indications of his commitment to develop the country.
And Citi News' Sami Wiafe has this report.
Wrapping up his one-day tour of the Volta region, President Akufo-Addo says the many campaign promises he made to Ghanaians in the run-up to the 2016 election have been delivered. Nana Akufo-Addo says the NPP has set the country onto a path of growth and prosperity and needs another term to complete it.
What is the progress that the Volta region has seen under the umbrella? Zero, 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 absolutely zero. The 3.5, 4 years of the elephant in the Volta region, already we are seeing the changes that are taking place in the Volta region. The new Patriotic Party has a blueprint for the development of Ghana. I am determined to marry the Volta region. I am determined to marry the Volta region.
The NPP parliamentary candidate for the Hohoe constituency, John Peter Amewu, on his part says NPP has brought development into the constituency and must be voted for. The national organizer of the NPP, Sami Oku, says it will be a mistake on the part of Ghanaians to vote the NDC and John Mahama back to office.
Let's not toy with the future of our country. We have an opponent who has been an assembly member before. He's been a presiding member before. He's been a member of parliament before. He's been a deputy minister before. He's been a minister before. He's been a vice president. He's been a president and a former president. It's only greed that can bring you from that retirement back into office. The people of Osei, what I saw 4 years ago is not what I'm seeing here today. Mr. President, Osei has made a shift towards MPP.
And presidential candidate of the opposition National Democratic Congress, that's the NDC's John Dramani Mahama, has slammed President Akufo-Addo for what he says is a shielding of his corrupt appointees. He has promised to allow institutions mandated to fight graft in his government a free hand if voted for come election 2020. And there's more in this report.
Recent opinion polls have suggested Ghanaians will consider the incidence of corruption and the fight of graft in their choice of who becomes the next president. In an interview with Weezer TV while wrapping up his tour of the Ashanti region, former President Mahama accused his main opponent, Nana Akufo-Addo, of failing to crack the whip on his appointees found to be corrupt.
Several polls were done in advance of this election. Corruption did not feature much. It was still quite down the ladder. It was more jobs, education, healthcare, hardship, and things like that. And then corruption was like number 5. But recently there have been several scandals, that have hit Ejapa. Then the issue to do with the special prosecutor's report. The mistake with Nana Akufo-Addo is, one, some of the people engaged in corruption are so close to him in terms of relationship that he's unable to do anything to them. And aside from that, he has a proclivity where corruption has occurred and it has to do with one of his appointees or things, to try and, clear them and shield them. He's done that in almost every scandal that has hit. They frustrated investigations. The Galamsey investigation, have you heard about it again?
Mr. Mahama assured Ghanaians a government under his watch will allow institutions to function in dealing with corrupt appointees.
Ghanaians will elect me to change the course of their lives and their destinies, to work to get them employment. I'm going to be focusing on putting our ideas, the 1 million jobs plan, the big push, and others. And so it won't be my job to run after political opponents or whatever. All I'll do is let the system work. Let the Office of the Special Prosecutor investigate those cases and prosecute anybody who's been involved in them. That's how it should be.
Now, Second Lady Samira Bawumia has charged Muslim women in the Zongo communities across the country to vote massively for the new patriotic party in the upcoming December elections. According to her, a vote for the NPP will secure the future education of their children. Speaking at the Zongo Women National Congress 2020 in Accra, Samira Bawumia explained the need to work hard to increase votes and maintain Nana Akufo-Addo as president of Ghana in the elections.
As the 2020 polls draw near, the MPP is leaving no stone unturned in its efforts to win the hearts of Zongo women across the country. The Zongo Women for NPP is a volunteer group formed prior to the 2012 elections under the auspices of the Second Lady, Samira Bawumia. It is made up of enthusiastic Muslim women in the Zongo communities across the country who are poised to canvass for votes in all Zongo communities to ensure victory for the NPP. Speaking at the Zongo Women National Congress 2020 in Accra, Samira Bawumia tasked the people living in Zongo communities to assess the performance of the new Patriotic Party administration and vote massively for the party in the December 7 general elections. According to her, the MPP administration has demonstrated its ability to improve the lives of the people in the country through its numerous initiatives, especially its flagship free SHS policy. Making reference to her Fulani and Zongo background, she urged the women to take advantage of Akufo-Addo's free SHS program and ensure their children get full education because there is space for them at the top too, irrespective of where they come from.
As a Zongo woman, as somebody who was born in the Zongo, the difference is that I'm educated. That is why when I had the opportunity, I'm able to rise to the occasion. And I want this blessing to be true for every child in the Zongo. And that is why it's important that we fight for this government. get 4 more to do more for you, for the people of Zongo. Because opportunity is important. Because we need to get a break for every child, for every family. Because anybody can make a difference in everybody's family. Be it a woman, be it a man. And we as an example can stand here and fight. And that is why in this final stretch, as women, we need to work hard and make sure that this good thing that we have, this blessing that we have in this government, this blessing that we have in this free education, doesn't slip away.
Meanwhile, Minister of Communications and Member of Parliament for the Dablu West constituency, Ursula Wusu-Ekufo, encouraged the women to go beyond the political myth about the MPP in the Zongo communities and vote massively to secure 4 more years for the MPP.
In 2008, when Nana Akufo-Addo had the chance to choose amongst the many qualified people in the MPP to be his running mate, he chose Alhaj Mahmoud Dr. Baumia. He repeated the same choice in 2012. He could have changed it, but he said, no, we make a good team together. We work well together in campaign 2008. So I will go with Alhaji Baumia again. And the party agreed. In 2016, people were saying that it's time for him to change the tickets. And he said, nah, I'm not changing the tickets because I need Dr. Baumia to work with me when we come into government, and I know he will perform. And indeed, he has. And so let no one deceive us that the MPP has no time for Muslims and those from the Zongos.
The National Democratic Congress says it will strengthen Arabic education in its next government.
According to the NDC, the current New Patriotic Party government, with its lack of commitment to strengthening Arabic education in many Muslim communities, is killing the interest of many Zongo youths who are gradually moving into other religions.
General Secretary of the party, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, who visited Bojiase in the Wutu Senya West constituency to outdoor parliamentary candidate Gazela Tete Agbotui, indicated his party's commitment to build mortuaries in the Zongo communities to help them in the burial of their relatives on time, in line with Muslim traditions and customs.
Now, Citi News' Central Regional Correspondent Calvis Tete has more.
The General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, criticized the New Patriotic Party for not putting proper measures in place for the Zongo communities to streamline their activities. He also bemoaned the lack of interest on the part of government to strengthen Arabic education in the Muslim communities. This, he says, is gradually drawing many Muslim youth into practicing other religions. The General Secretary also indicated his party's commitment to building mortuaries in the Zongo communities to help Muslims in the burial of their relatives on time, in line with Muslim traditions and customs.
Ministry. Zongo for school. You decide school. Or the back school. Or now I tell Zongo Sonno. And don't Professor Mahama say, Arabic, Yababa Chirano Zongo school piano. I could be over Zongo school. Over time, Koran. No. Yadin she said for forever. Na kamofonu piwaha wamuya kamofo banza enunti ya cheche mo na wamu ajiyano akosi baby American so biwa uko machira na ya chifrija etada bia ube unse kamoni ba kurawu na ya deno akotare
Kafri ni bema so. Na omunyi na wo friji ba komo. Ni atum. Aya dia, aya nyakopo achiwade. Enuti atabir. Eti President Mahama ani Ghana Zongo mpanimfo ya Tracy ani aji atumu se babia machiri wobia wa Ghana Zongo kasi abai hono ya bawe machiri no na ya kreti ankramofo sign sadi abaya sakramoni wu ni ewuso ye kramonia yemfa no nkofra ka frifonum.
Parliamentary candidate for the NDC in the Wotu Senya East, Gisela Tete Agotri, criticized the incumbent MP for the area, Nay George Anda, for not bringing the much-needed development to the constituency, and thus called for support from the constituents for the NDC in the December polls.
Wotu Senya West, Senya, level of development, I do know, very, very bad. This is a young diagro. The best way. Makonta, JJ rallies, and you now you're making sure that this time around, in 2 weeks' time, no, the better abanu ye, near to number 2, Emma Maham, and then at number 2, Emma Gisela, and then Amikasa, the social leader, Timama or Mino, Gisela Soba, out to Senya West, Yabanya Tempefra, 4 years, you're wasting time. Yana Yakita reverse MP, or the average Facebook, any entertainment in Guano. This is a new braba. And you might have white trying. A judgment not to have entertainment and Facebook, social media. Sisiano and new braba.
The Member of Parliament for Bole-Bamboi constituency said he has performed creditably, hence the need for his constituents to renew his mandate. Alhaji Yusuf Suleimana made this call at a town hall meeting with a cross-section of constituents in Bole on Saturday. Citi News' Savannah regional correspondent Richard Fogo has this report.
The NDC is leaving no stone unturned to consolidate its hold on the Bole-Bamboi constituency. The party has held the seat since 1992 with former President John Mahama as its longest-serving member of parliament. Being the constituency of the flag bearer in this year's elections, the NDC wants nothing than a landslide victory for both John Mahama and Alhaji Yusuf Suleimana, the incumbent member of parliament and his parliamentary candidate. To this end, the MP held a town hall meeting to account for his 4-year stewardship to the people of Bole-Bamboi. Constituents at the town hall meeting included chiefs, religious leaders, associations of nurses, teachers, dressmakers, hairdressers, market women, and youth groups. Alhaji Yusuf Suleimana, the NDC parliamentary candidate, in his address said he believed the people of Bole-Bamboi will renew his mandate based on his performance, hence the need to account for his first 4 years as their member of parliament. He enumerated projects he undertook in the constituency from health, education, water and sanitation, agriculture, trade, among others. Alhaji Yusuf said besides delivering numerous projects as an MP in opposition, he has served the people of Bole-Bamboi creditably in parliament.
Since going to parliament, I represented the constituency very, very well. In parliament, I participated in debates, be it budgetary, be it legislation that is passing of laws, be it debating reports, and the reports are there to show. Again, when it comes to committees, I participated and contributed very well to the extent that leadership of the minority side recognized my contribution and elevated me from just a member to a deputy ranking position on the trade committee.
He therefore called on his constituents to renew his mandate and give him another 4 years in parliament.
I present myself to you on the 7th of December this year, asking that you re-elect me to be your member of parliament for the second time. Please, that I believe have the expectation. And I know
Patrons at the town hall meeting were given the opportunity to ask the MP questions and also make suggestions for him should he be re-elected.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom here on Citi TV. Still ahead. Executive Secretary of the IGP, or former Executive Secretary rather, of the IGP Peter Tobu vows to retain Wawa seat for the NDC.
We have the details to that story and many others when we return. Do stay with us.
Rigworld Solutions, forging the frameworks of Ghanaian industry. Engineering solutions from the heart of Takrady, Kejebil. At Rigworld Solutions, we manufacture industrial bolts and nuts, fasteners, hoses and fittings for the extractive and petrochemical industries. World-class products with local expertise. Locate our factory in Kejebil of the Takrady Takwa Road. Call 0302 949917 or 0540 107504. Email enquiries at rigworldsolutions.com. Rigworld Solutions, crafted in Ghana, engineered for the world.
Looking for something new this November? Looking for star-studded suspense?
It's what rich, entitled people do when threatened. They conceal the ugly truths to protect themselves.
Maybe you're in search of true love.
Roses are red, violets are blue. I got a crush on you, baby, would you be my boo?
What about a bit of family drama? Need something to keep the kids entertained?
We're ready to help with the case, Mira. We'll look for a clue.
Perhaps criminally good comedy is your thing.
That is so cute!
Whatever you're in the mood for, look no further than DSTV.
Hi, my name is Salamatu. Yes, these are both me. You see, before free SHS, my life could have taken two very different paths. The SHS path depended on how much money my parents had, what sacrifices they were willing to make, and whether they would send me or my little brother Issa to SHS. The other part is what would have become of me if there was no free SHS. But today, thanks to free SHS, my future is bright and promising.
Congratulations, you have an A. He's a boy.
Instead of depending on others, I will stand on my own feet and help my family. Free SHS is where my dreams for a better future and the dreams of thousands of young girls become a reality. Don't let NDC take it away from us. Vote for NPP and give all Ghanaian girls a chance for a better future.
You're welcome back to the Citi Newsroom. Now, a former executive secretary to the IGP, Peter Tobu, has vowed to retain the Wild West seat for the NDC in the upcoming parliamentary elections. Now, Mr. Tobu, who snatched the slot from incumbent MP Joseph Yilitre, says his track record makes him stand tall against his opponent. He's coming up against the former DCE, Daniel Dari, who is contesting the seat for the third time on the ticket of the NPP. There is more in this report by Citi News' Upper West regional correspondent, Latif Mahama.
The Wa West constituency was carved out of the Wa Central constituency in 2004.
The constituency has a population of more than 100,000, with a total of 238 communities, making it the second largest after Wa Central among the 11 constituencies of the Upper West region. Some of the communities in the area include Dorimon, Lasetolu, Vieri, Tamvari, Ga, Bache, and Wichau, the district capital. Agric is the mainstay of the constituency, engaging over 90% of the residents. The constituency is the host of the famous Wichau Hippo Sanctuary, one of the most patronized tourist sites in the Upper West region. Since its creation in 2004, the main opposition National Democratic Congress has been winning in the Wa West constituency, with Joseph Yelichire as the Member of Parliament. Mr. Yelichire first won the seat with over 13,000 votes, beating his closest contender, Edward Yirimombo of the NPP, who could only manage a little over 6,000 votes. In the 2008 parliamentary elections, Mr. Yelichire had over 10,000 votes, beating Edward Yirimombo, who contested as an independent candidate after losing the MPP parliamentary primaries to his former campaign coordinator, Daniel Dari Kunsogno. The Wa West legislator consolidated his vote margin in the 2012 elections with over 16,000 votes, beating the MPP's Adams Timbile, who got 9,918 votes. Mr. Yelichire won the seat again with 12,858 votes in the 2016 parliamentary elections. Farouk Bandana, who contested as an independent candidate, had close to 9,000 votes, while Daniel Dari of the NPP also got a little over 7,000 in his second attempt. As the country gears towards the December polls, some residents in the Wa West constituency are worried that the area has been neglected by successive governments.
The road leading Wichau through to Dormo to Wa is not in good shape, and also from Wichau last year through to Wa is not also in good shape. And also with regards to our security, because on several occasions we've had some issues with regards to our security, armed robbery and all that stuff going on within the district.
We have a certain community closer to Wichau here, Pamfa and then Kantu. When it rains, teachers cannot go to school because the road will be flooded. Then you can't cross the water there. And the health aspect too, there are some communities which we need to build cheap compounds for them to get the first aid before coming to the district hospital or whether to the regional hospital. But we are lacking those things.
First of all, we don't have clinic. Secondly, we don't have road in this our community. Thirdly, like this, for instance, if we sick, even paracetamol, we can't get them unless we go to Dormo or Wa. So if they can help us about the health security, the clinic or the clinic, if they can help us for clinic, we would like that.
It appears the concerns of these residents resonated well with delegates of the NDC in the Wa West constituency, who decided to reject the incumbent Member of Parliament, Joseph Yelichire, in their last parliamentary primaries. He lost his fourth-term bid to a former secretary to the IGP, Peter Lanchene Tuobu.
When I came around, I think I went around the constituency and I put together a very simple project that we called JJ Screw-H. JJ Screw-H is a simple acronym for what I intend to do for the people of Wa West come 2021 to 2024 with His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. We are talking about jobs. We want to create jobs for the youth. We are talking about justice. I want to ensure, with my background, the criminal justice system must work well in my constituency. People must enjoy the fairness of the system. And I want to ensure that schooling is something that we have to take very serious notice of. Education is very crucial. Many of our schools are really gone dead. You find children on the floor writing. You find teachers not really happy to be in the classroom. And I think that we need to do something about education system. I'm also looking at the roads. We had a year of road by the MPP, and I think that it was just a jargon or a slogan. There's nothing that has happened for the 2020 period. And I'm sure they will try to blame it on COVID, but they never even started for COVID to stop it. So I'm talking about roads. I'm also talking about the fact that in this era, sometimes I get to a community and I'm so sad that you still find people in this age, 63 years after independence, still sharing a source of water with animals. I think it's disgusting. It's unacceptable. We'll try as much as possible to reduce this burden on the people.
The MPP's Daniel Derry, who is contesting the Wild West seat for the third time, however, says Peter Lanchene is not known in the area, a reason he will be defeated.
The candidate that they are bringing is a weaker candidate as compared to the previous candidates that are used to contest with. He's not known. He's only using the popularity of his party symbol with my people. And for this time round, it's not about the symbol. It's about who can do the work. And he doesn't have any single example. He says he's a son of this district. Nobody can contest that. But nobody knows him until he came and contested for the primaries and won. Have you seen? So for somebody to say that he doesn't have a footprint.
Mr. Daniel Derry believes his experience as a two-time parliamentary candidate, coupled with the development he brought to the constituency as the first DCE, makes him the most prepared in this year's parliamentary elections.
The people initially didn't understand me, but I think this year, if you actually follow me on the ground, you get to know that the people are actually testifying. They have seen that during my tenure as a DCE, I did a lot of work for the constituency. But initially, due to one or two reasons best known to them, they were not actually coming forth. But this time around, they have seen that yes, the footprints that are left since 2008 in most communities are still the only footprints that can be seen. But for the arrival of the MPP, there wasn't any developmental projects in those communities. Like in most communities, most of the schools that you see in Wild West currently, we even initiated them.
The NDC's Peter Lanchene, however, says he is confident of retaining the Wild West seat for the party because of his track record and the good policies he has in place to change the narrative in the constituency.
I was born and bred in Poyentanga. And if you travel all the way from Dablu to Poyentanga, you will be told that you are not known. If you travel all the way from Dodoma to Poyentanga, you'll be told that you are a stranger. In the same way, if I move from Poyentanga to Wichao, or I move from Poyentanga to Kunchile, they'll be looking at me as a stranger. But you know what? You get known when it is necessary for you to be known. I've come to contest for the Member of Parliament position, and that is the time that I have to tour the whole constituency. So, of course, a few people are seeing me for the first time, but many people have crisscrossed me in the world. They realize that this is a material that they can trust. Apart from the fact that he became DC many years ago, what has he done again, and what has the MPP done for him again? Peter Lanchene Togo is coming with a new strategy.
According to the Ghana Statistical Service, the Wild West is the poorest in the Upper West region, with more than 65% of the residents living below the poverty line. Some of the challenges facing the residents include inadequate health facilities, lack of potable water, and bad roads. Will the NDC maintain its dominance in the area, or the story will be changed after the December general election?
We are not just voting on parliamentary because maybe this person is my brother, this person is my relative, or I attend the same church with the fellow, but we are looking at who is well exposed enough to be able to go and represent the interests and people of Wild West very well in Parliament. If you look at that, and maybe who is also having the experience in terms of Ghana here, to be able to go into any public office, to be able to lobby for development for the people of Wild West.
I'm going to vote based on one policy. That is a free senior high. Some people with intelligence, some people with knowledge couldn't make it with their education. But I think with free education, we have a lot of people enjoying it. We have people who couldn't even afford education drop out of school because of monies and school fees and that stuff. But we've had it now. People, even with poor backgrounds, are able to make it to school because of free education.
Officials of the Electoral Commission in the Ashanti region have admonished the electoral officers who will be deployed for the December polls to exhibit a high level of professionalism when discharging their duties on election day.
Now, the Commission has warned that electoral officers whose conduct will go contrary to its rules and regulations will be dealt with according to the law.
Officials of the Commission in the Ashanti region have reiterated their readiness to conduct a free, fair and transparent election.
Now, Citi News' Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani reports.
Electoral officers who will be deployed to perform duties at polling stations on election day have been taken through training. They have also been taught the rules and regulations governing elections in Ghana and of the Commission. Ashanti Regional Director of the Electoral Commission, Benjamin Banobio, tells Citi News the Commission expects the electoral officers to discharge their duties diligently and professionally.
It was part of our training for officers to be professional, and anyone who does anything against the rules and regulations of the Electoral Commission will not be spared. We want to ensure that the results that will be declared will be a true reflection of the desire of the people who voted. And therefore, we urge all our stakeholders to help us to monitor the system so that anyone who wants to do anything untoward will be exposed. Even the system itself and the processes will expose you. For this time round, the device that we are using is going to give records of persons who were biometrically verified and those who were manually verified.
The Ashanti Regional Office of the Electoral Commission has taken delivery of electoral materials and has also begun deploying them to districts within the region. Mr. Banobio spoke about his office's readiness ahead of the elections.
In the Ashanti region, I want to assure you that everything is on course. We have received almost all the materials that are needed for the elections. Even the ballot papers, they are ready in Accra and vehicles are there to convey them to the region as we are speaking now. Currently, Ashanti region, we have 47 constituencies and we have 6,737 polling stations. We have reduced the threshold for polling station to 749. So there is no going to be crowding at the polling stations. We are sure that with that number, voters can cast their vote freely without any hassle. And even it's not all the centers that are up to that center. Up to that number. Yeah. So everything is on course and we are poised to deliver a very successful elections.
On the streets of Kumasi, Citi News spoke to some residents on their readiness ahead of the elections.
For the election, we are all ready. As a citizen, we all have to go and cast our vote on the 7th December. So I'm ready to go and cast my vote. What I would say is, on the 7th of December, I'll just go and join the queue, cast my vote, go home, wait for the results to be read on new. Security safety starts from the individuals. If you protect yourself, the agencies will also do much as possible to add some to it. But for security, you have to start from you. You have to protect yourself first. In the first place, as I've said earlier, I'll vote and go home peacefully and wait for the results to be heard. I don't need much protection from the security agencies, since I'll protect myself.
We are prepared, and then we want the best to come, or we want the best to be, yes. So we are prepared, and then we are indeed grateful that at least the year is coming to an end, and then we are going to revote again. I think all the necessary things have been done, and indeed there's going to be a peaceful election. Nothing is going to happen. We all have to advise ourselves not to go against the other. Whether you are in party A or party B, what you have to do is vote in the box. You do what's peaceful. You leave the election box or the electoral area, you don't come there. So I don't know if it will be best for you to come and then hear the counting. I don't think it's part of your problem. It shouldn't matter you. What you have to do is finish voting, go home and relax.
From Kumasi in the Ashanti region, Hafiz Tijani for Citi News.
Moving on, the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, says the proliferation of small arms and light weapons in Ghana must be a concern for all stakeholders, especially when the country is preparing for a major election. The UNDP is urging effective stakeholder collaboration to deal with the trend to safeguard lives and properties. The UNDP is partnering with the National Peace Council to sensitize the youth to eschew election-related violence. Hafiz Tijani reports once again.
The Small Arms Commission recently released staggering statistics of arms proliferation in parts of the country. Although the Ghana Police Service and other security agencies have assured they will ensure the safety of the citizenry, many want enough to be done to avert possible violence. Speaking during a sensitization program ahead of the December polls at Drobonso in the Setre Afram Plains constituency in the Ashanti region, the peace analyst at the Ghana office of the UNDP, Madame Melody Azenim, said arms proliferation continue to be a challenge.
So you cannot force people with violence. And I believe that every political party is looking for numbers. It is the numbers that gives you the win. So if you go using your guns to kill people, who is going to vote for you? Who is going to vote for you? Because the numbers that you probably will carry, you will not get it. Because you have killed people. So we need to be wise. We need to ensure that we continue to promote peace in our country. Small arms proliferation is a serious issue right now. I mean, in the last 1 month, we've heard of the number of armed robbery cases where in Kumasi, and then I was listening to news in the evening, and there was that report of the young man who was shot because he had complained that the person was driving carelessly. So you can imagine, people are just roaming around with weapons, with small arms, which is very dangerous. Those are not the things we should be carrying around. What we should be carrying around is the ideas that we want to use to develop our country.
She advised the youth to eschew acts of violence before, during, and after the December polls.
If a politician comes or someone comes and say, I'm giving you this weapon to do this for me, tell the person, I don't need it. This is not what I want. We want development in our communities, not weapons. Don't give us weapons. And don't also go on your own to say you are buying weapons to protect yourself. The police is there to protect all of us. So let's continue to engage them because they are there as the state security. So let's continue to engage the police. Let's continue to share information on issues that we see in our communities with them.
The Ashanti Regional Secretary of the Peace Council, Reverend Emmanuel Bedu Amwa, also urged the youth to play a role in protecting Ghana's democracy.
What is preserved for us is what we are now living in. So the onus lies on us to preserve it for our children who are coming, so that whatever thing that we sow today will determine tomorrow. Good war cannot be compared with bad peace. Non-violence is the way forward for all of us. It's a powerful weapon than using our strength.
The campaign, dubbed Ballots Without Bullets, is to influence public behavior through education on the dangers and abuse of guns before, during, and after the elections. Participants were sensitized on the proliferation of arms and light weapons and their impact on peace and security in the country and the Vigilantism and Related Offences Act.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom. We're taking another break here. When we return, government cuts sword for the construction of a borehole at Gambaga alleged witches camp.
Details after this break. Don't go away.
for something new this November? Looking for star-studded suspense?
It's what rich, entitled people do when threatened. They conceal the ugly truths to protect themselves.
Maybe you're in search of true love.
Roses are red, violets are blue. I got a crush on you, baby, would you be my boo?
What about a bit of family drama? Need something to keep the kids entertained?
We're ready to help with the case, Mira. We'll look for clues.
Perhaps criminally good comedy is your thing. Whatever you're in the mood for, look no further than DSTV.
During tough times, we need a competent leader we can trust to keep us all safe.
Nana gave me free water when I needed it most to keep me clean and safe from COVID-19.
Nana gave me lower cost of internet during COVID-19 to operate my small business from home.
Nana told us to trust him to keep our children safe from COVID-19 when we sent them back to school. Nana was right.
Nana gave me free electricity in my hour of need during COVID-19.
Nana told us to trust him to keep Ghana safe from COVID-19.
You're welcome back to the Citi Newsroom here on Citi TV. To some more stories. Now, lack of access to potable water for inmates of the Gambaga alleged witches camp in the northeast region is expected to be addressed soon, with the expected completion of a borehole by the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection.
Well, the minister, Cynthia Morrison, cut the sword for the construction of the borehole during her second visit to the Gambaga camp after several appeals from the inmates.
The heinous killing of a 90-year-old Equidente at Skafaba in the Savannah region in July further tainted Ghana's human rights record internationally. Several human rights groups called on the government to act swiftly to protect the lives of vulnerable aged women, often subjected to torture in the name of alleged witchcraft. The Gender Ministry initially declared that it was closing all the camps soon after the killing of the 90-year-old woman of alleged witchcraft went viral. But it suddenly backtracked on that move due to strong opposition from the cross-section of the public who advocated for proper assessment of the situation before such an action. This is why the Parliamentary Select Committee on Gender and Social Protection paid a visit for the first time in August this year to the camps dotted around the northern part of the country to acquaint themselves with the reality. 4 months later in November, the Ministry of Gender has returned to the camps, announcing steps it has taken to improve the condition of the inmates. At the Gambaga camp, where the ministry first visited, the inmates smiled for the first time since the coronavirus hit the country, as donations were not forthcoming, leaving the women in distress. The minister presented assorted items including foodstuffs, mattresses and pieces of wax prints as Christmas hampers, and cut the sword for the construction of a mechanized borehole for the inmates.
We are here today, as promised, to deliver the necessary support per your consent. The support includes money, construction of mechanized boreholes for the other camps in the northern region, establishment of a corn mill, provision of foodstuff, valid national health insurance card, mattresses and pillows, and all other things that will make your life comfortable.
The camp's only source of water had been a rain harvesting reservoir constructed by the Presbyterian Church through a Canadian philanthropy organization. The minister said due to reintegration challenges, the inmates at the camps fear to go back to their communities as threats of violence and stigmatization are still rife in typical communities, and the inmates therefore see the camps as a safe refuge. However, living in the camps comes with its own challenges. The minister outlines government's new strategy to deal with the phenomenon of witchcraft accusations in the country.
Their current poor sanitation conditions and access to water supply will be improved. Mechanized boreholes will be provided to all the alleged witch camps. Also, the residents will receive psychosocial support from the Department of Social Welfare. For the long term, we will take steps to disband the camps and reintegrate the residents to their communities. The disbandment will be preceded by engagement with the stakeholders of the respective communities.
The Deputy North-East Regional Minister, Tahiru Tia, says unlike other camps where the inmates are excluded from the neighborhood, the Gambaga camp is integrated in the community as the people live in harmony with their ostracized women. For the alleged witches, they felt Christmas came early for them.
And this is where we bring down the curtains on today's edition of the Citi Newsroom. Our website, citinewsroom.com, has more information on our top stories and more.
Subscribe to Citi Tube on YouTube for more exclusive video contents from Citi TV.
You can download the Citi Newsroom app from the Google Play Store or the App Store and keep updated on the go.
You can also watch Citi TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182.
My name is Minna, Dablu.
And I am Bobbie. Osei. It's been a pleasure coming your way.
Ghana goes to the polls on December 7th, and Citi TV gets to work. From 6 a.m. on December 7th, bringing you all the action and reports, with our correspondents covering all 275 constituencies. Be assured of exhaustive and definitive